What's going on, guys? It's Caleb back with a video. It's been a hot minute. I don't really make YouTube videos that much anymore. No gameplay videos recently. Sorry about that. I just haven't been playing very many games recently. I popped on to the occasional, Battlefield 6 free version, RedSec, or whatever its official name is, and some Magic the Gathering Arena. Not really too exciting to record and talk over, whatever. So apologies about that for not getting out any videos. I've been really big into the hobby scene recently. To say recently, I say more than a year now at this point, where a lot of my free time has been going toward painting these miniatures and getting them ready for the tabletop. And I know I said a while ago I was going to do a full collection review, go through all my armies and talk about each individual character and all that kind of stuff, really go into how my thought process for developing the colors and the basing schemes for the armies and stuff. But it just there hasn't been a great time to do so. This hobby room is directly next to my daughter's bedroom, and so when it's late at night, you can't really talk. You can't necessarily talk like this or record loud gaming videos. It's just a little bit too noisy. The volume level has to be kind of down a little bit, so that's why I haven't been making too many of those. And also weekends are different too, because the toddler running through, it's daddy, something, and then you can't really make a long form video going over hobby stuff. So hopefully I'm just gonna be doing a little teaser right now. I'm hoping that there will be a big here is the Gondor army that I've collected, here's the Mordor army / Angmar army that I've collected, and actually do that kind of breakdown. But I'm just giving you guys just a quick overview type video, and so you just know hey, Caleb isn't dead, he's just been super fucking busy. So let's take a brief look around and just kind of give a very quick view of what's going on. All right, so over here we got the Rohan army coming through. I paint tested a royal guard. How do I words good? A royal guard there. Just get the color schemes kind of down pat, and knowing what I want to do, and then just batch painting everybody on foot and mounted. We got a Eomer proxy that I'm working on. The foot guy was done a long time ago, but the actual mounted one I'm just now doing. So yeah, Royal Guard. Back here I got some Gondorian knights that I'm proxying up. The horses are all legit, but obviously the dudes on top are all just regular foot warriors that I'm trying to convert into mounted somehow, because the regular knight models are $10 each, and I'm not about to spend that. So that's been the current project going on there. I got a bunch more goblins that I'm trying to paint up. That's very time consuming. They're very small. There's a crap load of them, probably about 40, maybe more, that I have to do, and that takes a lot of time. Halo Flashpoint, haven't really touched those in a while. This is the Victrix early Romans, Byzantines, Goths pack that they came out with a couple months ago, maybe 3 months ago. So these are just heads. I mean, you only have enough. There's only I think 30 or 40 models in the pack, and they give you a bajillion heads. So I cut all these out and organized them into this is armored infantry B5 right here with all the arm and equipment options. So I kind of separated them all into bags, so when I assemble them I can be okay, I don't have to guess of what part fits here and there. We also have the guide there in case I get lost, to be hey, what armor and heads can I use on a particular guy? I have all that stuff kind of organized and stuff. So over here, just real quick, these are fiefdoms. So in Gondor, there's a bunch of mini territories called fiefdoms, and so these are kind of medieval ragtag kind of warriors for that. A bunch of headless dudes. I'm working on World War II stuff. That's been kind of a side project that I've been working on when I get burnt out on fantasy stuff. So these are all my army paints or speed paints. The things with these is they give you the actual color on the bottle, but you never really know what it looks like on a model until you actually put it on there. So to help me keep track of what's what and at a glance know what color I need, there are these 3D printed skulls on top, which I primed up, and I just dunked it in, not dunked it, you know, heavily painted on the responding color to it, so I can just look at a glance and say, okay, that's the color I need, rather than looking at the label and being like, oh, I need charming chartreuse or noble skin. I can just like look at the head and be like, yeah, that's the color, exact color I want. Bunch of contrast paints in there from GW. They fill a lot of niches that Army Painter Speed Paint does not. Anything new in here? I don't know if I showed these Viking proxies in the past. Oh, they could be like Dunlendings. Bunch of Haradrim and unpainted Gondorians in there. That's been like a kind of a side project. I don't know. I recently picked up some brush cleaner, so this is going to help preserve some of my more like expensive brushes, and you know, maybe clean up and heal my old ones so I don't have to buy new ones. This is like all my basic material, like glue and water and sand and mud and all that other kind of fun stuff. I've been amassing a pretty good collection of kit bashing parts. Two-handed weapons, crossbows, heads, you know, random arms and bows and swords and axes and just random torsos and stuff. So if I ever like just want to chop up a bunch of, you know, old miniature pieces, I have, you know, stuff I can glue on and kind of, you know, run wild with, so to speak. What else do I have? There's some Moria stuff in there. I don't know. I don't really want to talk about that too much. I finished up some of Lurtz's / Ugluk Scouts. I don't know if you can see that too well, but I finished up a bunch of Uruk-hai Scouts with some Autumn Leaves. These orcs I'm either going to paint in the theme of the Scouts, because Ugluk's Scouts can run orcs in them, sent by Saruman right here. I also got a Sharku on foot. He's pretty cool. You know, I redid my Saruman. I got a metal Grima, so kind of like a small Isengard type thing going on there. Nothing really new on the Mordor Aymar front. It's kind of all the same. I've been kind of paused on that. And there's like all my Rohan stuff in there. I've showed you that in the past. We don't need to talk about that. Up top here, I can't remember if I had this last video. This is a metal fell beast that I got for wicked cheap from some guy. The wings were already painted, but you know, detached from the body, so it's been taking a little bit of work to actually pin them to the metal torso and kind of sealing the cracks and stuff with a putty. So it's not like all gapped and stuff. Also, if you know Reaper Bones miniatures, they have really cheap plastic, but this guy here, which you can't really tell who he is, and then this dragon here, these are going to be proxies for my Moria army. This guy is going to be just a regular dragon, and this like really weird looking one is going to be a cave drake. So those are going to be proxies, so I can actually start running some like of the big beasts in Moria. Some Star Wars Legions guys, like some bounty hunters. I don't know if you can see them too well. There's like Boba Fett and like a murder robot and a murder Wookiee in there. Tyranid Hive Lord. That's gonna be a project for another time. Over here, I got the Balrog all painted up. I completed him in a weekend. Just rushed to get him done for a reason that I'll tell you about in a little bit. Let's see. I got some Dunedain soldiers back here. That I got for cheap off of a seller on eBay. A complete steal. They had them listed for probably 4 times less than what they should be. I got Sirion, which is a Gondorian captain. I have Armored Boromir from Gondor. I have Madril, which is Faramir's buddy. These are all cheap. The 3 Dunedains were I think $8, and then Boromir, Madril, and Sirion all together were I think like another 12 or something, like dirt cheap. These are saboteurs or whatever from a game called War Machine, which is now defunct and not really popular anymore, but I figured they'd be really good Haradrim proxies for the Hasharin. They're like the assassins of the Haradrim world, which, you know, I already have a bunch of Haradrim that I need to paint. I'm kind of procrastinating on that, so you know, maybe we'll paint those up. Okay, and then now we got Trench Crusade stuff. I know for sure I've showed this stuff in the past, but I finally based them all on the appropriate size bases. I've primed them. I've gotten the bases kind of done already with mud. Let's see if you can see it properly. See all that mud down there? I'm going to add more stuff to it, but that's kind of like the base pattern of it. All that's really left to do is to dry brush them with white paint. So when I apply speed paints, they pop a little more, and kind of those grungy textures will come out more, as opposed to if I just put normal acrylic paint on them, which includes layers and washes and all this other crazy stuff that takes a bajillion amount of years. Other than that, there's not really too much else going on. I got some Age of Sigmar stuff down there. I can't remember if I talked about that last time. Some Age of Sigmar stuff. Target had a bunch of like random boxes where it's like, you know, 1 out of 5 figures could be yours, and so you open up the box, it's like, oh, it's like this particular captain, whatever. I pulled basically like the rare one of the set, and I think it's like $80 or $90 on eBay. So I'm debating whether just to keep that so I have the full collection, because I have all the heroes with it, or to sell it. Probably sell it. It's always nice to have a little bit more money. Anything else down here? No, that's pretty much it for stuff. I don't think I have any more hobby things to show. I think that's like pretty much it, I think. How do I say this? There have been some sellers on eBay which have listed stuff for wicked cheap, where I'm just gonna click buy and I'm going to resell it immediately, because you should not be selling me this 20-year-old metal figurine for $6 when you can easily just like look on eBay and it's 40 or more sometimes, depending on if it, you know, what model it is. But like, this is your loss. Like, you put it up here for this amount of money, I'm going to take it for that amount of money, and then I'm going to resell it myself. So in that closet I have a box that's full of those kinds of things, where it's stuff that I think I can reasonably resell it. It's not going to be like an immediate turnaround kind of thing, because you are selling it for, you know, the average price that people are selling stuff for out there. You know, I don't want to also like not get as much money as I could, even though it means sitting around in there. So that's unfortunate. So the last thing of the video I'll say is, you remember I talked about the Balrog earlier and how I hurried up in a weekend to paint it? Well, I played my very first game of Middle-earth Tragedy Battle game. There's a Discord for like the local community, and there's not too many Lord of the Rings players out there. It's all Warhammer people, which is great. I love my Warhammer people. You guys are doing a good job. Keep doing it. Yeah, great. Fantastic. But for us, like Lord of the Rings people, there's not many at all. So actually having people finding free time to go and play is like really hard to do. So committed the afternoon to go and play. I brought Moria. I chose the Balrog as like the main guy. I think the army list is just called Depths of Moria. And the Balrog has to be your leader. So yep, put out the Balrog, some Moria Goblin spam, and my opponent brought Easterlings with Amdur as the general. So couple horsemen, lot of black dragons, which are like basically like elite human warriors, and regular Haradrim against my piddly goblin. So I'm like, I just need to stall long enough so that A, I don't get surrounded, and B, the cavalry just don't wipe over me, because cavalry can knock over models and get like free hits and stuff. So in my mind, I'm like, I have to start carving a path with the Balrog and just kill people. And so for that video, the Balrog did work. He did not take a single wound. He's got 10 wounds. He did not take a single wound. He helped out all the goblins in the area because he gives them all fearless. So any spells that my opponent casts that would cause terror are not in effect, because the Balrog's like, I'm the most scariest thing in the room. You guys aren't afraid. Go for it. And so the Balrog just kind of like just started cutting a path through people. The Balrog also has an ability where he gets free heroic combats. So basically he gets to enter a melee combat, and then if he wins the fight, he can move on and do another combat for free. So me kind of doing that, kind of whittling down the opponent's troops, but also like he murdered me for like all my goblins were getting demolished, but the Balrog was just getting through cavalry left and right, killing a couple heroes. And then Amdur, the guy's general, like super busted hero, loses a fight against the goblin, and that gives me just enough time for me to swoop in with the Balrog and kill the general. And so it was a really fun game. I learned a lot. I have a little bit of background, like watching videos on YouTube about the rules and stuff, but it's all very different being in the game yourself and experiencing it that way. So, yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I had a great time, and hopefully we'll play another game in the future where I'll either take, Moria again, or a different army. Maybe Rohan. Maybe these Rohan guys will all be ready to go before long, and so we can do it then. But anyway, that's about it. That's the update video. Hopefully more stuff coming soon. Take care, guys. Thank you for watching. I hit 1,000 subscribers recently, and I've hit the view count so long ago at this point, but it was the subscriber count that really mattered. So hit 1,000 subscribers. That means I'm able to get monetized. Hopefully, it's not going to be a lot because these videos do like crap, but hopefully it'll be something. That's a really big milestone for me, being on the platform technically since 2011, making actual thought out videos for the last probably about 10 years or so, because Airsoft started on this channel, and now I have a dedicated channel for that, Ginger Jesus Airsoft, if you want to go check that out for Airsoft. But yeah, it's been a long time coming, just as a fun hobby, just kind of putting one foot in front of the other and doing it. So yeah, anyway, again, thank you guys so much for engaging and being a part of this, and I really appreciate all y'all. All right, see you in the next one. Deuces.